At the most recent Chris Metzen Worship Festival, also known as BlizzCon 2023, Blizzard announced a myriad of new content for World of Warcraft, including 3 new retail expansions and, unfortunately, Cataclysm Classic. Bet we're all excited for that one. But if you're like me and you can't let go of the past, you're probably more interested in the now released Season of Discovery, a server in which its main purpose is kind of like my sex life, one big experiment with a bunch of 35-year-old men. It takes the beloved base of Vanilla WoW and adds a few twists and turns to freshen up the experience. Things like temporary level caps and refurbishing old dungeons into raids. In fact, the server is so experimental that they even made up a whole new release date just for Australia. My country's a fucking joke. One other tidbit that they've ended up doing for SOD is shaking up the class meta a little, letting rogues and warlocks tank, and letting mages heal. And if you think I, as a mage, am going to be healing anyone, you can suck my big fat gnome pussy. Yep, that's right, I'm going to be playing as a gnome mage, because I watched this video at a formative young age, and now I can't main anything else. I wanted to go with the name Hot MILF, but since that name has gotten me reported twice, I might add, I figured maybe that's not the best idea this time around. So at 8 AM on November 31st, I set off on a journey to discover that the servers were still fucking down. Now, I mean, it's not all bad though. This gives us ample time to decide what server we're gonna play on. You'll notice all of them have different acronyms. This represents what the server is. You have RP, which stands for Roleplay Server. You have PvP, which stands for Player vs Player. You have RP PvP, which you'll never guess what that stands for. And you have AU, which I presume stands for Autism, which is where I will be calling home. Once the servers are finally live, we gear up and set off on our new adventure. And holy fuck, everyone else also took the day off work today. So our new SOD adventure begins in Cold Ridge Valley. This is the starting zone of the gnomes and the dwarves. Now, I've done this zone more times than I've cranked my hog, and given how muscular my left arm is compared to my right, that's quite a lot of times. See, our first task is to obtain 8 wolf meat. Now, in a sea of presumably men hiding from their wives, it can be a little difficult to get a tag and a kill on a wolf. So here's the breakdown. To get a tag and get a kill, you or a person in your group needs to land the first attacking blow on an enemy. And in your group, you can have up to 5 people. Now, if you're a keen observer, you'll notice that there's more than 5 people around in the starting zone. In fact, if you look very closely, you'll notice that there's a lot more than 5 people in the starting zone. Meaning that the strat for me and my temporary gang of big rigs is to dogpile the wolf spawn point, and hopefully one of us can land the first hit. Then one and only one member of our group gets the honor of looting the corpse, and then hopefully we actually get their meat. Do this 8 times without putting your head through a fucking wall, and congrats, you just completed the first quest of Season of Discovery. But once I broke free from the pack, I stumbled across my first rune. That's right, I didn't use an add-on to tell me where to go. I didn't use a guide to direct me. I just discovered it. He's done it. He's done the thing. Now armed with Iceland, mob tagging is an absolute breeze. It's bonkers how I've done this zone hundreds of times, but yet they've been able to add just a little bit of freshness to it to just change up the experience. And that was kind of the whole vibe around SOD launch day. See, Classic Ground's been solved to the shit house for nearly 2 decades at this point. The game is so old, it can legally buy a drink in most countries. So to be in these zones that we've done so many times and find something new and think, oh sweet niblets, what is this? It's a neat little experience, even if that new little thing you find is the Wayland shipment, which was just one massive cock tease. But let's go back to runes for a second. See, this is one of Blizzard's big marketing pitches. Runes are new abilities that have been added into the game that can alter your character to make him stronger, perform better in different roles. But they're not like other abilities where you go learn them. So you gotta be like your weird uncle at the beach with a metal detector and go out into the open world and find them yourself. It can range from simply just dropping off a mob while questing, Yes, I am healing. Or it could be a bit more of an adventure, like warriors going out and finding the wandering swordsman, and defeating him in brutal combat to obtain their next rune.
I haven't gotten axes up before. Lamau, just help me out, dude.
Oh, fuck, sorry. See, not knowing how to get these runes added a certain level of mystique to the early SOD gameplay. You see a dude with an ability that you don't have, and you're like, shit, what the tits? What do I get then? This led to people working together, socializing, trading secrets so they could all come out with a one common goal. You know, until Wowhead just discovers them all and you can just fucking Google it. But this is what SOD is all about. Finding new things, uncovering new mysteries, new discoveries. Discovering that I dedicated way too much time to a broken old video game in 2019, and 4 years later, I'm more than happy to do it all over again. Fuck, I need to go outside. The last discovery I made on launch day was that the player base is different. They've matured, if you will. See, WoW is a very social game. It's kind of like Habbo Hotel, but with more dragons. and racism. And you'll come across a varying amount of different players in your travels. I mean, fuck, I ran into Pitch Perfect star Rebel Wilson. I think this is actually her as well. And usually these players on launch day are like Britney Spears' best song, Toxic. But this time around, all the players are actually really well behaved. Never mind.